Warning, the following video is for 17 to 18 viewers or people who know better. The video contains themes of hypnosis and Newgrounds characters. If you are uncomfortable with it, then please just exit the video instead of complaining. The video is strictly fictional entertainment only and is not to be mimicked in real life. You have been warned.
Boyfriend didn't expect to run into Neo today, but the brunette was rather happy he did. Meanwhile, Neo, on the other hand, didn't expect to see boyfriend first, before Softy and B3, since vanilla boyfriend usually vibes best with D-sides and hell beats. The two pretty much just stood there in the meeting point, where the portals to their worlds usually open, so that the boyfriends from other universes can hang out. Boyfriend then got Neo's attention by telling him he wanted to show him something. To which Neo raised his brow a bit, in curiosity. Boyfriend fished through his pants pocket to pull out his cell phone, opening the app he had on there that filled the phone screen with pink and had an eye at the center. Neo asked, after rolling his eyes uncaringly, what the app was even about, since to him it looked like one of those weird games on a website that claims to be a game for girls, when it was just weird, Elsa Gate-like content in game form. Boyfriend only gave a chuckle and replied with a,
"You'll see,"
as a smooth male voice emanated from the phone, as if gently demanding their undivided attention. The phone's screen bloomed a pink and purple spiral, which Neo tried to look away from at first, but the mere glance of it already had him unable to tear his gaze away from such an entrancing animation that displayed upon the small screen. The same spiral then began to bloom in his own eyes, mimicking it, as he could feel his body slowly surrender. Neo heard the voice telling him to give in, and he could even hear boyfriend urge him to do so with a rather delighted tone. But Neo, however, still had enough stubborn willpower to tell boyfriend, in a low voice, to get the phone away from him. However, it fell on deaf ears. He took one look at boyfriend, and saw how hazy his blue eyes were, easily deducing that he was the app's first victim. Especially since boyfriend, with a gentle and almost sickeningly sweet voice, was urging Neo to let go, with how wonderful the feeling the app gave him was. Neo clenched his teeth, trying to keep himself from slipping into the hypnotic effects. Attempting to lift his arm up, only to fail, when boyfriend grasped the arm with a free hand, while the other still held the phone to him. Neo began to feel like his head was fogged by a sticky, cotton-like substance, feeling like any sound was drowned out, and all he could hear was boyfriend, or even the voice on the hypnotic app, telling him in unison to give in. He wants to so badly. Why shouldn't he?
It felt good.
The neon male tried his damn hardest to get his body to move, and push those intruding thoughts attempting to deafen his mind with repeated echoes of just submitting. Boyfriend walked around Neo and stopped right behind him to remove the headset he had on, and he leaned in to whisper to Neo's ear.
"You will give in."
And something in Neo's head just snapped, as the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. His shoulders drooped down, relaxed, with boyfriend rubbing one of them with his free hand. The phone he held was much closer to Neo's face now. Neo's head drooped a bit to the side. The spirals had faded from his eyes. His now hazy eyes still gazed at the screen, with boyfriend also staring into it. Both were deeply captive in its power. Several hours later, Softy and B3 had arrived. The two were simply talking about how things were going on their respective ends, but then B3 brings up that he's wondering where Neo is, since he's usually early. And, as if summoned from out of nowhere just by name alone, they hear Neo greet them cheerfully as he walks over. To which caught B3 and Softy a bit off guard, since Neo looked a little too cheerful. B3 decided to ask if he's okay, or jokingly ask if he won a lifetime supply of Monster Energy drinks. Neo gives a soft chuckle and just tells them that he bumped into Prime Boyfriend earlier and showed him something quite enjoyable. Softy and B3 looked at each other for a moment, with Softy being a bit concerned and B3 being slightly confused. Then they looked back to Neo to ask what Boyfriend showed him. That's when Neo pulls out his phone from his pocket in delight and tells them to take a look at an app he got. Softy and B3 were still a bit suspicious, especially with how strange Neo's eyes seemed to be. But Neo's their friend, so it should be fine?
Right?